Hey guys, it's your legal bestie, attorney Symone. Sorry it's taking so long. I know it's been a minute. I know you guys have been wondering, where have I been at? Well, I've been on vacation, clearly, / working and making big moves, big changes. I'll have some updates for you guys on that. Yes, any minute now. Drop the topics you want covered today. But we're going to get into Cardi B, Brittany Renner, and her baby daddy. We have a T Hood / Kai Frost, the Frost family from Love and Hip Hop. We have an update on them as well. And then we have just a few other just viral legal stories that we're going to cover too. And then if there's any topics that you wanted like a quick update on, feel free to drop those and I'll see if I can get with you. We're going to go for about 45 minutes, 45 minutes today. No, it's not a real vacation. Excuse me. So last weekend was, Labor Day weekend. And I hate being stuck in town whenever it's a federal holiday. I guess when it's a 4-day weekend, I feel like it's my, American responsibility to get the hell out of town. So I did, and I decided to come to New York for the month. So that's why I have this backdrop. This is a jail cell, and I'm going to be here until Diddy's sentencing, which is currently set for October 3rd. That's right. Currently set for October 3rd. I don't expect it to change because we know that man is trying to get out as soon as possible. All right. But also don't forget, you can go to my website, SymoneRedwine.com. You can get my book there, but you can also go and you can book a consult with me. It starts at, here we go, just go down to Book Symone. They start at $200 for a 30-minute consultation. There are still some slots available for this month, as well as I am going to be doing my law school course for adults. I've tweaked it. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a free webinar where basically I break down some of the most important things you need to know if you are thinking about going back to school and going to law school, including getting testing accommodations. A lot of people don't realize, even if you've never ever had them in your life, some of my students that I've coached have received testing accommodations to get time and a half to take the LSAT. So instead of 3 hours, you have 4.5. And the cool thing is, if you get that on the LSAT, it then follows you to law school and the bar exam. So instead of the bar exam being like over 6 hours, you get, what's time I have it? 9. That's another story. All right, let me know where you guys are in here viewing from. Let me know where you're viewing from. All right, let's go right on over. We're going to do our little T Hood update. T Hood update. All right. So T Hood is an Atlanta rapper, and he was unalived with the Pow Pow on the premises of Kirk and Rashida Frost from Love and Hip Hop. Now, I did a brief little story on them. I think it was a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I got some updates, y'all. I got some tea. Now, first of all, this is why I tell y'all, if you have a child, you need to have a will. And I'm actually going to be partnering with a company that provides really reasonable wills. Well, I already have. And I'll have that link, and I'm going to drop that soon in the affiliate link. But listen, so now the drama has gotten extra stupid. So what happened was, allegedly, it's not even alleged, we saw the video. Hood is the rapper here, I'm not going to talk about the dead like that. But he's a gentleman he's not a gentleman, but he's a guy in the video. And there's a video that was released of him whooping up on Kirk Frost's daughter, Kelsey. So this is Kelsey's brother, the light-skinned one. That's also Rashida's son and Kirk's son. So the video was released of him, Hood is the boyfriend of Kelsey. And he's just going to town. He's whooping on her. She's trying to like lay in the bed. He's whooping on her. How you going to whoop on me on my house? If you're going to put your hands on somebody, do it at your house. But he's whooping her tail, unfortunately, at her house. Now, it was not the day of the incident, but ultimately on August the 8th, Kai pow-powed him on the premises of the Frost compound. And the police have currently said that it is being investigated as self-defense. Now, Hood's family are upset because he was shot apparently 6 times, 4 of which were in the back, 2 were in the front. Now, of course, a component of that is, well, can they tell which happened first? So like if you're pow in the front 2 times and then you turn, that person that's already pow-powing may have just continued to shoot because you're moving around. We don't know, but here's what we do know. So I was able to confirm, number one, the medical examiner has updated the autopsy to list homicide. Now, some people think that that means, oh, self-defense is no longer on the table. No, honey, that's not how that works. Even if it's self-defense, if you were unalived by another person, it's a homicide. In other words, the coroner doesn't go around saying, well, it was a self-defense. If it was self-defense, we're not going to put homicide. No, they're still investigating the self-defense. It said, yeah, dudes just be having all type of nerves. He sure was. So number one, self-defense is still on the table. But the 2 other significant factors that I've confirmed are that this happened, of course, on the premises of the Kirk family compound. So apparently Kirk and Rashida live in a larger house on the premises. And I believe there's 2 other properties like townhouses or 2 other ones, one of which Kelsey was living in, as did Kai. So Kai did live there. So people were saying Kai lived with them. Kai lived on the premises, not in that unit, not in the same unit as Kelsey, and not in the unit where we saw the beatdown video. That beatdown video, again, was not the same day as the unaliving. However, the day of the unaliving, there was a call to 911 that reported that a female had been injured and was hit by a guy, which we are assuming was Hood. And significantly, this did not occur in the house. There was allegedly a text message from Kelsey to Hood's mom telling the mother, hey, he's tearing stuff up all in here. And there were cameras inside of the living room and inside of the house. That's how we got the video of him unaliving her. But this happened actually on the walkway outside. So I want your thoughts. How does that impact your feelings regarding self-defense and the self-defense analysis? Remember, this is Georgia. Georgia does have stand your ground. So Kai lived there. Kai pow-pows him, but at the entrance, like in the outside area of the property, there's supposed to be a walkway up to the property. 4 of the shots were to the back, 2 were to the front. At this point, we don't know which of the shots hit first. We also don't know how close they were, like was there stippling, blah, blah, blah. As well as Hood technically didn't live there, but he was staying with his girlfriend. So we're just going to say everybody lived there. So it wasn't, so the allegation from Hood's mom is that Kelsey called her brothers to do this to Hood. And Kelsey's like, I didn't call anybody. Well, now it makes more sense. You wouldn't need to call anybody if everybody already lives there. Or, let me say, yeah, somebody said self-defense, period. Yeah, you wouldn't need to call anybody if someone already lived there, especially if y'all are hollering, fighting, making noise, and everybody's on this. So apparently there's the big house again, and then there's the two like townhouses. Well, if I live next to you and I'm hearing all that and you're my sister, I'm going to be over here like, what the hey is going on? Also, the autopsy report did state that Hood pulled his weapon first. Now, we don't get to hear the version of the alive person, but the autopsy report said Hood pulled his first, and then Kai responded with his pow-pow. Now, I don't really know that people care that much now that the abuse videos have come out and we've seen the bruising and stuff. Can't say that we cared, especially if that's how you do a woman. Oops, sorry. If that's how you do a woman, I mean, and you have a weapon in your hand, I shoot first, ask questions later too. But y'all, here's the, I don't know if I want to call it ghetto part. Here's the other interesting part. So Hood's family is preparing for a civil lawsuit. They want to sue the Frost family, right? Here's the thing. I wouldn't touch that case with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't touch that case even if I was Johnny Cochran. I wouldn't touch that case as far as representing the Hood family. Here's why. Number one, under the law, the largest, whatever, if they were to get money, the majority of that money goes to any minor children. And he has a baby mama and he didn't leave a will. So when you die without a will, the money goes to the baby mama effectively. Now, let me be clear. Most courts will appoint a guardian ad litem for the child, and likely in that guardian ad litem will say, oh, we need to create a trust, this, that, or the third, to where the baby mama likely will not have access to that money. I think his child is like, let's say 7 years old or younger. I think the child's probably closer to like 4 or 5. But number one, if there's a civil case, the mama is doing all this talking and concerns as I would be if my child was unalive, even if they were naughty. But I don't think the mom realizes under the law, she really don't have a claim. Let's say there's $1 million to be received. The mom might get 10%. Might. Because here's what the law says. The law says if someone died, if they pass away, even if it's a wrongful death, the majority of the money is to go to the children, right? To provide money for what the children have lost by not having a father anymore. How they would have paid for their tuition, their school, their whatever. Parents only take money from the child if a parent can show that during that child's life, that parent was dependent on him. I have handled multiple wrongful death cases where everybody is running to get the mama to sign up. In other words, to get the case and get the mom to sign and say, yes. The mom is saying we can represent them. Most of the time, if they're kids, I don't care nothing about their mama. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but I don't care nothing about you because I'm not about to do all this work for 10%. Instead, the baby mama, plural, any and all above, is actually, hit that like button, guys. Hit that like and hit that subscribe, where any civil funds would go. But also, Atlanta law, Georgia law for this would be called premise liability is really challenging. Number one, you have to show that the Frost family was aware of the danger and that they did not do anything to protect Hood from Kai. You can't show that, especially where Hood pulled out his weapon first. Second of all, if Kirk and Rashida were in their house minding their business, didn't have nothing to do with it, they're not liable. And Kai, the son, he don't own nothing. So you can't get nothing. You would have to find liability with the owners of the property to be able to be entitled to anything. And then maybe you could attach something to the house. So long and the short of it is Hood's family is looking to get money if they can't get the police to charge someone criminally. Hood has a long criminal record. No one seems to really have much sympathy for him, especially once the abuse videos came up and came out, and we don't care. Nobody cares. All right, next up. Y'all, poor Brittany Renner. Poor Brittany. Brittany Renner. Okay, so this is Brittany Renner. Brittany. I don't know if she was raised by wolves or what, but this poor little girl don't stand a chance. She doesn't get along with her mama historically. Her mother hadn't been there for her. She is, now Brittany Renner, if you're unfamiliar, is the superhead of our generation, okay? She is the superhead of the 2010s. So she was known for being with athletes, yet still being poor. So Renner, a video was released this past week, right, on social media that shows Brittany Renner and her mom and her baby daddy, his name is PJ Washington, and PJ's wife nearly coming to blows in an exchange of the son. Now, Brittany was on Basketball Wives. She was dating Kevin Gates. She used to dress like this. Now she is wrestling and fighting with people. She's also talked about being poor. Now, first of all, I really, really admire and appreciate people who can say, hey, I don't have it right now. She might be fine now, but there was an episode on one of her interviews where she was basically talking about how, yeah, she has all these online followers, but financially, she's in straits. Financially, she's not comfortable. She's not good. And it makes me think of all that purposey management. But see, Superhead was poor too. Superhead had poor busy management. And Brittany also wrote a book. She wrote a book about her exploits and the different celebrities that she did it to. So therefore, no one felt bad for PJ Washington, her baby daddy here, who was dumb enough to have unprotected sex with her, to just do it in there raw. You went right up in Buttercup. She recently was like going back and forth with, I don't remember if it was on Basketball Wives or what. She was going back and forth with another woman. And that other one was like, that's why you have all those D's in your mouth. And she was like, actually, I've only had 36 D's in my mouth. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to summarize this real quick because there's a legal component of this as well. So Brittany Renner, PJ Washington were captured getting into an explosive back and forth regarding Washington's relationship with his son or the lack thereof. In a viral clip posted by Renner, the Basketball Wives star can be seen handing her son PJ Jr. off to his father, who was picking the child up for visitation. However, the interaction quickly turned heated as Renner, who was being recorded, began to scold Washington for upsetting their son, who was crying during the exchange. It says, let me see if I can pull it up. She says, this is not what we're doing. She snapped at the daddy, attributing the son's tears to not wanting to leave to be with his father. Renner began to berate the NBA star, claiming that the instance marked the third time that Junior reacted in such a manner and that it was due to Washington's absence in his life. Y'all, you know what? One of the things that's so messed up about child support and visitation is once child support's set, it is set based on expected visitation. But if any given weekend, a dad or mom says, no, I don't want to go pick my kid up. I'm going to go to Vegas for the weekend, or I'm going to go on vacation with my wife. There's nothing the mom can do. Or vice versa. Mom, if you're going out of town and have some plans and you're counting on the father to take his weekend and pick up the child and be responsible, and they decide they don't want to, you're screwed. I know a girl who failed the bar the first time, was set to take it the second time. Her baby dad was supposed to take the child that day of the bar exam. He didn't answer his door on purpose. So she didn't even fail it the second time because she couldn't take it. But that literally meant for an entire year, she had to wait and take the bargain, because you take it in July. Then if you don't pass, you take it in February. She was trying to retake it in February and had a job offer lined up. So that messed up her job offer and everything. Anyway, so Renner was complaining. Basically, he doesn't see the kid enough. And Renner says he doesn't want to go with you. Renner told PJ Sr., who was accompanied by his wife, Elisa Chanel, who was watching from inside of the car that they had driven to the residence. Now, the residence is Brittany's house, and it is a cute, humble, it's a perfect house for a young mom or mom with one child. It's perfectly fine. It's probably, I think it's in Dallas as well. So it says, so actually show up and do something with him, she says, because he does this every time. She then says, it's up with me. Just know that, Renner says, as the encounter becomes even more intense, at which point this immature man tells her, suck my D. Really? That's how y'all gonna talk to each other in front of a child? Oh, a judge would have a heyday with the both of them. Then it said when Renner's mom was seemingly appalled, asked Washington to repeat himself, he didn't flinch. He said it again, suck my D. He says, I didn't stutter. He says in response before repeating the phrase, leading to Renner saying, if you had one, maybe I would. Pussy A, B word. She then replies, leading to Renner's mother and Washington's wife, the stepmom, basically getting involved in a heated reaction. Here we go. Make it bigger here. Huh? Let me play it. Play it for you. They were all cussing. You're right.
Okay, hold on, pause. This is what we're not doing. So every time that he does this, I'm gonna record this. Because that's not okay.
She said every time he does this, I'm recording it.
No, the thing is, this is the third time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He doesn't want to go with you. So actually show up. Actually show up and do something then with him. Because he does this every time. No, it's not.
Pay attention to what she's saying.
You give him his bag and stuff?
That's terrible. 3 weeks in a row.
She said, the grandma says 3 weeks in a row. So that means he's gone to receive his child or exercise his visitation rights 3 weeks in a row. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not that at all. No, it's not. No, yeah, I will. But I'm telling you right now, every single time you come here and he cries, we're going to record that.
She said every single time he comes here and he cries, we're going to record that. That's perfectly fine. I want the moms in the chat. Do you think this is unusual? Y'all let me know. At the time, it looks like the little boy is probably about 2 or 3. Apparently, this is actually an old video, as that little boy is much older now.
And it's up with me. Just know that it's up.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you had one, maybe I would. Pussy ass
Hey, you
bitch.
wish I would.
Hold on. That's her mama who said if you had one, maybe I would. What type of tag team action is that? Did y'all hear that? The mama is the one that said, that's disgusting.
Yeah, what the fuck you looking at? Get your bitch ass out my driveway, ho.
You don't pay for shit.
Fuck you. You don't pay for shit either. $170,000 to your hoe, but $11,000 in your son's bank account.
Okay, that's what I wanted y'all to hear. So grandma says that he has provided $170,000 to that girl, but only $11,000 in the child's bank account. Now y'all know I've done videos on Tyrese. I've done video on the fact that Tyrese earned $275,000 a month, but only wanted to pay $3,000 a month in child support, despite the court setting it at $10,000 a month, which was substantially low because usually it's about 20% of your income. But what she's saying is this 3-year-old has $11,000 in the bank. What more does a 3-year-old need? Now, here's why I'm saying it. Because I don't like when people are like, it doesn't take that much to raise a child. I'm not saying that part. I'm saying if you're telling me there's a bank account with $11K in it just for the child at 3, that's okay. Because that is not the same as child support. Like child support is for the monthly, the whatever's going on. But more than that, guys, Brittany is from Texas. I know that PJ was playing for the Mavericks when they met. And if this child support is based on Texas, oh goodness. Well, it's no wonder that Brittany would be upset and poor, because Texas, until September the 1st, Texas capped child support at right around $2,000 a month. Even if your husband was even if your baby dad or husband was a multimillionaire. Now they have just upped it. They upped it. So now I think the cap is right around like between 25 and 2,800. Hold on, let me see. Let me confirm that. Texas. Yeah, the cap raised, because what they do in Texas is they, here we go. Yep, now it goes up to, y'all look at this. So they raised the cap from $9,200 a month for one child. And by $9,200, they mean they only calculate child support based on the first $9,200 that a dad brings home per month, or the non-custodial parent. So as a result, for one kid, the max she could get, even though this man is a basketball player, the max that she could get from him would be $1,840 a month. And then that's for one kid. For 2 was $2,300, and for 3 kids was $2,700. The cap though increased just this year. So now I want to say, which is the equivalent of 20% of the income of that rate. The cap is now up to here we go, 12,000 and some change. Here we go. It is 11,700. So effectively, what that means is, if for one kid, instead of 1,800, potentially she would get about 2,100. So Brittany, if all of this is based on Texas, which is where it appears she lives with that kid, that's why Brittany is poor. I think when she had this baby by this athlete, okay, he was in North Carolina when they met, but was playing for the Mavericks and would go back and forth. And she lived in Texas, and it goes by where the kid lives. So if she's still living in Texas with her mom or near her mom, she didn't get along with her mom, so they probably don't live together anymore. But if she still lives in Texas, then that means the child support has to be based on Texas, which means Brittany Renner would only be getting about $2,000 a month, which means if you're planning on using your vagina to pay your rent, if the route to out of poverty is going to be through your loins, you've got to get up and move to California. Take that pussy to California. California has the highest child support calculation in the nation, and Florida is pretty high too. I'm being facetious. Of course she can get a job, and technically her job is being an influencer, being on what is that show? Being on Basketball Wives, etc. That's a legitimate job. There you go. But my point is, and let me tell you something. I'm so frustrated by this. It's so annoying to me, because like when I was in college, my best friend decided to keep her baby. Okay. There's a lot of people that get pregnant in college. Everybody ain't trying to keep their baby. She decided to keep her baby. Okay. And then she has to go to court for child support, and was livid because her baby dad was in college as well. They were both in college, but because he was in college, child support was only set at $50 a month. And I'm so proud of her. She told the judge, she was like, wait a minute, but I'm in college too. Daycare alone, I think daycare was either 400 or 800. Daycare was like 800. So the judge, because of her plea, she was like, she didn't want her kid to go to like, the subsidized daycare type. She was like, I want my kid to go to a daycare where they can say, hey, they're beating me or whatever. So she put the child in private daycare. It was $800 a month. And the court did rule that he had to pay for half of it. But I remember I kept thinking, wait a minute, you decided to keep this baby without a calculator? I'm like, you didn't run a calculator before you decided this was a good deal. Some people are better Christians than myself, and we just gonna leave it there. But for me, before I decided, like, okay, I could do this single mama thing, because for me, in my mind, especially like in my teens and my 20s, I was always raised to assume he's not sticking around and plan your life accordingly. And so the first thing I would have did was run that calculator. And the minute that thing popped out $50, baby, we going to a clinic. We going to, I call Planned Parenthood the Spirit Airlines of vaginas. But we going to one of those. We're doing something. Somebody said, I bet he double wrapped after that. No, this is actually a really terrible person. He actually, by the time he was 27 years old, had 5 daughters. Because God is hilarious like that. 5 daughters, and he's a lawyer. Oh. Don't drop no names in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Yep. They have calculators on the DHS side. So, yeah, Brittany, D is saying, Brittany attempted to try to embarrass PJ and ended up embarrassing herself. That's how I see it. Because the two of them were immature. The two of them are acting crazy. And in the end, if she were getting $11,000 a month, I don't think she'd be upset like that. So I wanted to clarify, because people are like, $11,000, that's good. No, she is not getting $11,000 a month. She's saying there's 11 in a bank account, but that he spent $170 on the month. The question becomes, at 3, I do think it's a legitimate. Here's the thing. The way Brittany is behaving, I would have concerns about putting a child's college fund, trust fund, any of that, putting that money in her hands right now. It's kind of like when you try to buy a Chick-fil-A, right? Or like when you try to buy a Chick-fil-A, there's a certain dollar amount that it costs to buy it. And there's another dollar amount where they literally want you to show that you have it in your savings account or something like that. Because they want to make sure that as you are launching your store, you're not going to be tipping into the till to pay your rent. I would be concerned that if I gave Brittany what I wanted to be the child's college fund, Brittany might be tipping into the till to pay her rent or get a new wig or get a new hijab. I don't know what she's doing today. Yeah, she needs some mentor and some sense. Girl, I'll mentor you in private and then I'll stop talking about you. I'm really a good person, Brittany, I promise. And I'm from Dallas, so I can get you some resources. That baby should have more. It's his wife and the wife lives with the husband. They would have way more. To be clear, not necessarily in a bank account, though. People like maybe in a life insurance policy or something like that. That's what I would make my husband do. I'm like, okay, every time we have a kid, get a life insurance policy. We're going to put money in there. It can be used later on in their life, etc. So I would say most people don't have a bank account for a 3-year-old. But if you are a parent and you're co-parenting with someone, you do. You got some type of account because you're co-parenting with someone. Oh, and finally, it's important to know the default marriage and married and unmarried rules. If you don't like your baby daddy's woman, wife, or whatever. Remember, there was an episode of Love and Hip Hop where Young Jock and his wife Kendra was meeting the new baby mama of the break baby or whatever that baby is. They were meeting, and the baby mama was like, well, I don't feel comfortable with Kendra. If Kendra doesn't want to sit down and talk with me, I don't want my child around them. Hey, guess what? Under the law, you can't do that. So baby moms cannot control what wives do from the standpoint of, under the law, if a party is unmarried, the other side can say, I don't want them having anyone of the opposite sex over at that house after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. It depends on each state. So especially for Texas. So I have a homegirl. This is one of my other homegirls. It's a hoe. She's not that bad of a hoe. She's a little bit of a hoe. And she started dating her boss, and her boss was married. And she told the boss, you better hurry up and get a divorce. So he goes and he gets a divorce. The woman he divorced, though, was a lawyer. And when the lawyer found out he was cheating on her, she kicked her husband out. So he went and stayed with my homegirl, right? And moved in with her and was staying with her. So in the divorce decree, she had added what is actually standard language that says whenever it's his time with the kids, he cannot have a woman of the opposite sex there like past 9 p.m. Well, they were living together. He had to move out. Gotcha. He had to move out. So I say that to say, but if they were to marry, that provision would not apply. It only applies when you're unmarried, and all states have something like it. So even if Brittany doesn't like his wife, she can't go to court and say, I don't want my kid around the wife. However, the wife and PJ could go to court and say, Brittany be busting it wide open. She was grinding on Charleston with the one eye. What is that man's name? The little miniature pimp, Charleston White. She be on any man that's around, and we're concerned that she is going to have this baby around strange men. So we want to add a provision that says anytime she has the son, there are to be no men after 8 or 9 p.m. Would you do it? I want to hear your thoughts. Would you have that added? Oh, somebody said, got the man. Somebody said, that's what she gets. I don't feel sorry for her. Think of Chris Brown's baby mama from back in the day who lived in Texas. Yep. And he was worth millions. That's right. He got $2,500. They will allow it in certain states if, okay, they'll allow it if it's a fiance. But what I'm saying is, Brittany should be careful on how things are flowing. I get it. Especially when you feel like the whole burden is on you and dad gets to just swoop in and be super dad and, doesn't have to deal with the tough stuff. And if you feel like dad isn't consistent or that he's underpaying, of course that's frustrating. However, they could add provisions that dramatically restrict her dating life, her love life, etc. And by the looks of things, I don't know that that would be a bad idea. So, on that final note, off to Cardi B. Oh, before we do Cardi B, I need to show you this real quick. I need y'all to stop doing this. It really pisses me off. This is Love After Lockup. Let me see if I can get the sound to play. I may not be able to. All right, y'all. Real quickly, this is from Love After Lockup. And the issue is these idiots married her first day out of prison. And now he's seeing exactly why she was a prisoner and a scammer. So he now wants a divorce, but he couldn't find her. She literally abandoned him. She moved. She had to stay in a halfway house in another state, but she wouldn't give him her address, etc., etc. And he's trying to serve her with divorce papers. Y'all, stop tracking people down to serve them with divorce papers. Look me, lean in. Somebody clip this and send it to your homegirl. Stop tracking people down to serve them with divorce papers. Instead, you file divorce based on abandonment. Abandonment, because that's what they've done. And guess what? When you file based on abandonment, and every state is different, but if it's based on abandonment, all you have to provide is the last known address. Because if you send, and then, have to send the papers there, you have to prove that it was served. So you have to hire a service processor. And then in most states, you also have to publicize that you're looking for that person to serve them with divorce papers, like in a newspaper. That may cost an extra $600. But when they don't respond, you get everything you want. If you say you want the house or the equity in the house, if you say you only want your debt and you want him to keep his debt. Hell, if you say you want him to take your debt and you can get everything you want unless a judge decides they want to come in and make some adjustments. But in effect, it's like getting a divorce by default. So stop tracking these people down. They don't let you. Get your money. Get your money. Any questions? Yes, by publication. It says, my mom found my dad in a similar way to get her half of what was in their divorce 15 years ago. Yeah, that's the thing. If you know that person has a retirement account, a pension, they've abandoned you. The law don't like that. Stop tracking them down. Put in the document everything that you want. I would encourage you in your state, you may want to have a consultation with an attorney who can just go over it. Some attorneys, you can pay them to just draft the documents for you to file on your own. But yeah, stop tracking these people down. I know someone who literally was almost done with the default. Like they waited the time, they did all the things. And then for whatever reason, they said, they found out of a new address and they sent paperwork to that new address, of course. And now he's contesting everything. And whereas before she would have had complete custody of the kids, no worry about that. Now she's got to literally fight for custody. And he's like, no, I want primary. Because you can do all that. Now, setting the dollar amount for child support, that's different. But you just want to get the divorce first. Trust me, you just want to get the divorce first. All right. Next up, Miss Cardi. All right, so Cardi B successfully, here's a clip. Cardi B successfully won her civil assault lawsuit. Now, I was out of the country and I was moving to New York and getting my life together. So I apologize. I was not able to cover that because I was literally in every which city. What city? I was working in way too many places. I got a trial next week. Don't even get me started. But here's a clip from the ridiculous case. And then let's talk about what does this mean for her upcoming pending. She's got another civil assault case trial that'll be coming up from throwing that microphone, hitting that girl allegedly on the shoulder in Vegas. But here's a clip. All right. Oh, lovely. So Cardi B was found not guilty of civil assault. Now, so many people say she shouldn't have taken it to trial. She shouldn't have Girl, what? This woman, Imani, was a security guard. The security guard was alleging that Cardi B scratched her in the face. So it all stemmed from the fact that Cardi B was, no one knew Cardi B was pregnant. This is when she was pregnant with Culture. And she didn't want anyone to know about it, including she had a bodyguard with her, but did not let the bodyguard go upstairs with her to the obstetrician's, OBGYN's office. So she sees the security guard. The security guard says, oh my gosh, I know you're Cardi B. According to Cardi, she then pulls out a phone and starts recording her. So Cardi did not want this woman seeing her go into an obstetrician because Lord knows at that around that time, people were also seeing a baby bump and starting to wonder if Cardi was in fact pregnant. I remember going to Coachella that year and Cardi B performed as a stripper. And I believe that was when she revealed her pregnancy. She opened up her little outfit and you saw a baby in there. So anyhow, she was so fresh. She was so new. This is 2018. So Cardi B's sentiment was this woman was stalking me and following me into a doctor's office. And the woman's position is that Cardi got loud with her and got in her face with her fingernails, did all this and scratched her. Now, y'all, I need to let y'all know this is how much this lady was trying to get. She got a little bobo on her face. She got 2 sets of micro needling, which for some reason cost $8,000. Now, this doctor claims that this form of micro needling is super heavy duty, but the micro needling cost $8,000 per session, and there were 2 sessions. And that's what they referred to as cosmetic surgery to repair the scratch, and that the scratch came from Cardi's nails. This woman wanted $24 million. Ma'am, you will never see $24 million in your entire life if you add up your salary from now until you hit death's doorstep. You will get $24 million of nothing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Cardi had to take it to trial. Because what happens is when you have someone on the other side that's so ridiculous, where their number and your number, what you're thinking of, are so far apart, you have to take it to trial. Oh, it was SNL. Thank you. She revealed the pregnancy on SNL. But this woman wanted $24 million. No, ma'am. No. And then come to find out, the girl who was a security guard, she, I don't know. The girl who was a security guard got fired for being unprofessional. So she tried to say that Cardi B and this incident ruined her life and created all of this havoc for her. And that's why she needed this. This is why, like, when people call me and ask me if I would consider taking their case, when there are minimal injuries, y'all, when the injuries, like, for what this woman is talking about, it in real life, it maybe should have cost $5,000. It's really difficult to convince a jury to see things your way when you go in there and talk about 24 million, because it just looks like a money grab and it looks ridiculous. And then when you saw how unprepared Imani's lawyer seemed to be, absolutely not. Plus, under the law of, I think this was either California or Nevada, either one. Under the law, there's something that's called contributory negligence, meaning a jury if they had found her liable, a jury then gets to decide, all right, did the security guard, though, help cause the little incident, the scratch in her face, by getting all up in Cardi B's face? And I believe any jury would have said yes. If a jury found that she is 50% liable or more, she gets nothing. I don't know why this man took this case. I don't know why her lawyer took the case. The lady's lawyer. I see why Cardi took it. Cardi had to take it to trial to show other people she's not about to be punked, and you can't just come over here for a money grab. So now, with the Vegas mic throwing incident, I look forward to seeing that, because that case is all about egos. So that young lady claims that she had some shoulder injury when the mic hit her. Again, we've got issues with contributory negligence, as in, did she, in that case in Las Vegas, Cardi was performing. It was really hot. And she said, "It's hot, splash me." Then allegedly around 20 minutes later, a woman in the audience threw a cup of ice. Cardi got mad, threw her microphone at the woman. The woman is now suing. She is being represented by Sierra Norris, who is a Chicago-based Kick A defense attorney. Sierra is known for being a bulldog in the criminal defense arena. I think it's going to be interesting to see this play out for the civil, because even if she was hit with this microphone, I think it's going to be really difficult to convince people that she's got $1 million worth of injuries. Even if it's emotional distress, you are responsible for throwing ice at the lady 20 minutes after she asked to be cooled off. You threw ice on her. And so a jury could find that you're somewhat liable. But overall, I think what ends up happening is, a lot of times in these cases, lawyers take the case thinking they'll tell their client, okay, go get medical treatment. When you're done, I'll send a demand letter, and let's just see what kind of money we can get on the table. I think we can get at least $100,000 out of her. And when that doesn't happen, and they write a demand letter that says that, if you don't pay by this date, we are going to go to trial, they call your bluff. You got to go to trial. It says for the other woman, it says she's a security guard. She should know better. Other than privacy, she could have jeopardized the other woman's safety. Yeah. Props to Cardi B for winning and standing on business. Agreed. All right, guys. That's it for today. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, drop down below what other topics you want me to cover. And I promise I'm back. We're going to be a lot more consistent, and let me know down below what else we should cover. Y'all have a great one. It's your legal bestie, Attorney Symone.